All right, so yeah, let's get started. So I'm Adam. I'm with DSL Dropship Lifestyle, and this is a new format, so it's going to be pretty interesting. I was able to get four Canadian dropshippers on this call, so we're going to have four different windows between us. It's going to be me. Then I'm going to have Irvin. Hello,
Hey
Irvin.
guys.
Irvin is at 100K since he started his dropship store about 3 months ago. Then I have Gabriel in his second month. He did about 2K. And then I have, hello. And then Gabriel, and then Sam, I have, he did like
Hello.
3K recently, just a few weeks in or so. So hello,
Yeah,
Sam.
1 weekend.
Yeah. But like after starting your store and everything, like getting the course and everything. And then I have Gary. I think he just made his first 2 sales. Is that correct?
Yeah, my second sale in 2 weeks.
Yes, awesome. So great. So they're at sort of different levels, but they're all helping each other out. And what we're going to be discussing today is a lot of people, before they start their dropship stores or they're looking at drop shipping and this opportunity, they're looking at drop shipping from Canada, from Australia, from the UK, from other places in Europe, Japan, wherever. And a lot of people seem to, put those barriers up and say, okay, well, I don't know if it could work in Canada or what have you. So I wanted to bring these gentlemen on and let it be a testament that it can work in Canada. It could work just about anywhere. And we're going to be discussing some of the pitfalls they ran into, some of the issues, and some of the ways to kind of shortcut your time to success, as well as we're going to be talking about some resources they set up. So without further ado, thank you for joining us all today. So if you could kind of
Thank you for having us.
In a nutshell, starting with Irvin, he's kind of to my left in the view at least. If we could all just kind of give our 90-second or like elevator pitch or what have you, just like a brief overview of how you found Dropship Lifestyle. What were you doing prior to Dropship Lifestyle, and what made you want to pursue this opportunity?
Sure thing. So I discovered Dropship Lifestyle, and that was because I recently went to Japan last February, and I got so enticed about the idea of living there, and I was thinking, well, how can I sustain my lifestyle, more so income of living in Japan? So I was looking up ways on how to make money online. Coincidentally, I was also reading Tim Ferriss's book, 4-Hour Workweek, so I guess that sort of sparked a light in me to look at other things. And drop shipping, I'm not sure how I discovered it, but I remember particularly reading Johnny's blog about it, and I was just so enticed, and I was just following his monthly income reports from when he first started to where he was last February, and I just got so enticed that I decided to try it out. Now, my particular store that I'm doing right now, I didn't start it until July. I was doing another niche before that, which I built up for a couple of months, but didn't really work out. So from February to April, I started my first store, didn't really work out, and then started this new niche in July, built it, and started the store September. And I'm happy to say that from September till about November, I did about 100K sales in 87 days. So that's a little about myself.
Great.
Awesome. So yeah, that's great. So wow. So a lot of people we're gonna get a lot of takeaways from you. Hopefully, no pressure, Irvin. In a moment. So
we'll share everything I know.
Yeah. So great. Thank you for that. So Gabriel, if you can kind of walk us through your journey real quick.
All right. So I've been looking for drop shipping a while ago. I think it all started with Tim Ferriss's book as well. I read it maybe a couple of years ago. I've been fantasizing about I really hate to work for someone. Like I obsessively, I don't like having someone giving me orders. So that's one of the reasons why I started a business, and I found about drop shipping on the internet. I don't remember where exactly, but as for DSL, I found it on my Facebook feed, and then looked it up more, decided to purchase the course, and since then I've been I didn't know anything about drop shipping. I just no coding, no design, no calling suppliers, nothing. And I'm really amazed. Like for sure, like this system works. Like if you apply it, it does work. And you have to work, and for sure you'll be successful wherever you are.
Nice, yeah, and you're a testament to that, and everybody on the call is a testament to that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks have seen a lot of opportunities or educational courses online before finding Dropship Lifestyle, and there's, for the folks that have like been looking at opportunities longer, they when they come across our information, they always kind of take a step back, which is fair, but you're a testament to that, Gabriel, Irvin, Sam, and Ari. You've tried, you might have tried different things or what have you, and then you found us and you started working the course, and that's kind of the theme that I've been getting from a lot of people, like Kate. I don't know if you saw our conversation with Kate, but she's going, I think she did almost 120K last month. I don't know if y'all saw that screenshot, but
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, and you can get to that level, but the thing is that she just went through the course. She didn't have much business experience. Like, I don't know if y'all have had a lot of business experience before finding Dropship Lifestyle, but you just went through the steps. You didn't overthink things, and you found a success. And it sounds like, to piggyback off what you were just saying, Gabriel, it sounds like you pretty much did the same thing. Is that what I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm. Was it a question?
Yes. Yeah.
I think the sound.
Oh yeah, some of the background noise and stuff like that. Yeah. So no, I was just asking, is that pretty much what I'm hearing? Like, hey, you weren't doing a lot of business stuff before that. And when you found Dropship Lifestyle, and you just pretty much followed the course.
Yeah, I dabbled before. I did research for years, and like I said, kind of like fantasizing about being free or something like that. And
right.
Then, I looked. I found Dropship Lifestyle on Facebook, and then looked it up. Did my research, found that there was, I was looking at the videos that Anton used to do, the 10 courses, and I found it like that I could trust that guy.
Okay.
And, I don't know. It's just, it's just feeling,
Yeah, no, that's good. Like maybe like a gut feeling or something, and you went forward and you made it work. It sounds like for you. So you're going into your third month, and you've already had 10K in sales. So congrats. So moving along, I guess Sam. Now, just to preface, a lot of the background noise is coming from Sam and Ari, because they're in a coffee shop. So we're just gonna make it work the best we can. But Sam, if you could kind of walk us through your journey real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, I joined DSL back in oh, there we go. Now I got the mic. I joined DSL back in September. When I first learned about it, it was back in July, and I was actually on a vacation to Alberta at the same time, and I really liked the scenery there, and I was just like excited to go back to college starting September, and I really didn't want to go back. So I was like Googling online how to make money, and all the stuff you run across when you Google how to make money online.
Lots of stuff, yeah.
So I decided to have like a really specific goal in mind. So I Googled word for word, how do I make $10,000 a month online? That's what I Googled. And the first thing I landed on was Business Insider's article about Johnny FD. And I read that article. And from that article, I went to his blog. First, I thought he was full of crap, but then I went to his blog. And from the blog, I learned about the method like drop shipping. So I think all in all, I did about 2 hours of research on it. And then by the third hour, I was like drawing up plans and notes and stuff. And like I was sold on it. So then I worked hard for about the month of September. And then I was able to, buy it at the end of September. And by October, I started in. And my first store, actually, I decided not to follow the steps all the way, which was stupid, but, I decided to do it my own way. So my first store failed miserably, and I started over. But second store did pretty well so far. And yeah, so, just taking it from there.
Nice. Very nice. Congrats to you. So, Ari, if you could kind of walk us through your journey real quick, please.
Did he ask something?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, we have a
Oh,
black
it's
screen.
my turn.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't have the earphones on because he was talking. For me,
Yeah, it's okay.
wow, I gotta say, I think I discovered Anton about, I would have to say at least 3 years ago. I think back when the course was like $250, $300 in the early stages, and I was just looking for ways to make money online because I knew that there was something for me that I could do. But I always had that hesitation of making that initial investment in me and investing into somebody else. I was thinking always like, if it's really a gold mine, if it's really something that's working, why would he share it with other people? And look, it took me almost 3.5, 4 years up until last September. I joined at the same time as Sam to finally embark on this journey. It's because I'm seeking location independence. That's my life goal. I want to have, the freedom to enjoy life with my wife, with my children, instead of living this constant rat race that we're in. And over the years, I kept falling on Anton over and over again, and I kept pushing it back. But this year, being a little bit more financially stable with my career and having money to invest in the course, even though it was 4 times the amount that I initially thought, I had to do it. I jumped in because I believed in it. If he was still around after all these years, it's because it meant something. And sure enough, the results are coming in today. I'm not in the $1,000 marks in sales, but I've only been live with ads for 2 weeks now, and I got 2 sales. So if 1 sale could be done,
Nice.
a second sale could be done. And if 2 sales could be done, that means more sales are to be coming. And just before getting on the call, I mean, I have people visiting my store all morning. Hasn't converted yet, but it will. So dropship lifestyle, I believe if you apply what Anton teaches and you follow the course step by step, anybody could do this. It's whether you have experience or not, the course teaches you everything you need to know to get to the point of making your first sale. I believe in it, and there's no reason why nobody else shouldn't.
Awesome. Yeah, so I mean, you're a testament to that, and a lot of people, like I was talking to Ernest last night. I talked to y'all know who Ernest is, I'm sure. But I was talking to him last night, and a lot of folks want to get like 100 visitors at least to their day, store a day, and if you convert like 2% even, you got two sales, you got 1 or 2 sales. So it's all about like numbers. It's like you gotta run traffic, you gotta get 100, 200, whatever amount of visitors to your store a day. So and then figure out how to convert them. So that was a good takeaway for me. I mean, I already kind of knew that, but then you got to be reminded of some of these things so you can make sure that you know your numbers and get to that next level to figure out what that looks like. So good. So I guess we have some background noise coming in, but the next thing I kind of wanted to know, so tell me about the genesis of this Canadian group that we have. So obviously, Dropship Lifestyle, you kind of, a lot of people are doing it for some of the same reasons: location independence. Gabriel, hey, doesn't want a boss, and I at times I don't like authority either. So it's we do it for different reasons, but similar reasons at the same time. And the testament, I guess, to our community is that, hey, folks are starting to get together from Canada, from Australia, from different places, and figuring it out together, building relationships, looking at each other's store, figuring out how to make it work. So if you could walk the viewers through the genesis of the Canadian group and then kind of what you learned along the way. So like some of those big takeaways that you learned along the way.
Sure. To be honest, me and Ari, we really came on the idea together to start a Canadian dropshipping group. But the idea came in my head because I've had a lot of people tell me that it's been, I mean, the course has been around for a while, how come no one had done it before? But to be honest, we kind of created it out of annoyance because when we kept asking questions, so when we came in, we had questions, being Canadian. So, we had people answer those, and then you would see I think 2 hours later, someone else would have the same question, and then it's just the same stuff over and over and over again. So you're probably digesting, regurgitating, like all the information, then it just gets lost and someone has to ask it again. And I'm pretty sure everyone was confused on especially the financial stuff. So we said, why don't we make a group where we can keep all this information together in one area so that no one has to ask these questions again. And I think you'll see the difference now, at least I think in the forums and in the Facebook group, is like the instance of having a Canadian being like, hey, I'm Canadian, how do I do this or that? I think it's pretty much down to zero. I have not seen a single one so far. But that was really the reason why we started off with that. And it also bloomed into a bigger community. I wasn't expecting more than there. But
More and more people keep showing up.
Yeah,
There's a lot more than we ever anticipated.
Yeah,
it's
no,
up to 107 now.
wow, no, it's great, and we have, I mean, we have thousands of members, but it's good when folks like yourself get together, because a lot of the information, like, I mean, we've been international for a long time, but a lot of the information, like you were saying, it's like fragmented in terms of like the legal structure of things, and just because when it comes to legal advice and stuff like that, anybody wise enough would offer legal advice, specific legal advice, just because.
Yeah, we got to be careful with that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
you gotta be careful with that. So it's good that you're organizing what works in Canada, and then getting that information out there, and then building. It sounds like symbiotic relationships to figure out how to convert. So, how did everybody find out about the group though? Like Gabriel and Irvin, how did you find out about the group, and then what have you seen that has helped you before?
Well, I don't remember how, actually. I don't remember how I found the group. Maybe I was invited. I'm not sure.
So
Okay.
for me, when I first started with Dropship Lifestyle earlier this year, there was the main Facebook group for the Dropship Lifestyle Labs, and so people were asking general questions. And aside from that, you had to rely on the forums. The problem with the forums, it's great. It's got tons of information, but it's sort of a one size fits all. There's one general thread which says and talks about how you can drop ship to the US if you were outside from the US. While I found the information there to be great, the information wasn't really specific to Canadians. Nathan did a great job about laying down the information on how to drop ship in the US as a Canadian. But the information that he posted there was a bit outdated, I feel, and there's some things that would just clash with each other. So when I found out about this Canadian dropship group specific to Canadians only, I think I found out about it through the Dropship Lifestyle Facebook groups. I immediately joined, and immediately there was a pinned post about all the legal stuff, about the corporation stuff, and I was thinking to myself, man, if I had this when I first started, it would be so easy. I wouldn't have to jump through the hoops that I had to jump through. So I was really thankful for Ari and Siam for putting this Facebook group together, because not only did it give a wealth of information, but it also connected me with a bunch of local Canadians, as well as people from my own province here, who I'm currently helping set up their dropship stores as well. So it really connected us Canadians and brought us a lot closer to each other.
Very nice. Yeah. So those are some of those resources that we hope to, get together and make sure that we link and we get it out to more people. Again, for like Australia and Europe, and we're getting some of those resources together, and people like yourself are helping with that information. But like I said, from a legal standpoint, it's good that you're getting that together and kind of seeing, comparing and contrasting your journey and the information that you run into. So for those folks that are tuning in and listening, from a legal standpoint, it's just one of those things where you have to kind of do some of your own research. We give you as much information as we can, but there's a lot of folks in the community that are putting resources together for your own specific country, where you can kind of shortcut the process or get some information to kind of, go down and see where you're going to find the easiest path for you based off of kind of what's in there. So we have a lot of people starting to comment. So in the Facebook channel, in the YouTube channel. So just to kind of give some comments so far, we have Joe Boy. There's hey guys, and they're laughing. I have Carlos saying hey everyone. So hey. We got Paul saying hey. We have
Any questions?
what's that?
I said any questions?
Not well. Let me see. I'm gonna get to some questions. Let's see. I'm just telling everybody. I'm just letting everybody know who's here. Let's see.
Thank you for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
Hi from Romania. Hello. Let's see. Hi, learn stuff. Let's see. ANOIR. They're saying, hey, hi, learn, or that stuff to be success. Well, hopefully you get some things that from this call. So, and we're gonna go over some of those strategies in a moment. We have Christopher saying, go Sam. And another guy, John, saying go DSL. And then let's see what else we have in here. Zeshan, hopefully I didn't butcher your name, has a question. How fast do you guys think you guys will completely be location independent? So I know I talked to Sam about that recently, but if anybody wants to take that question.
But I can. Okay, so what I think is it all depends on where you want to be location independent. Like if you want to be in Europe, it's not the same as if you want to be in Southeast Asia, for example. So I would say for Southeast Asia, like Thailand, you could be location independent doing maybe 2,000 a month. I don't know, of profit, and live really, really well. So if you're in Europe, it's a different game. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got. I mean, I'm sure. I suspect it's different for everybody, but there's, 2,000 a month. So a lot of our folks will have 2,000. If you're making 10K like I did last month, generally speaking, people and every like 20-30%. It just depends on their margins and everything like that. So and after ad spend. Kate, for instance, who I spoke to recently, she's 50%, and she hit like 100K last month. So you just got to, it's all a numbers game. So you got to figure out where you want to live and how to make it work, like Dave was leading to.
And every situation is different too.
Right.
It depends on your family situation. For me, I have a wife, I have children. Even though my dream is to be location independent tomorrow, we can't just pack up and leave everything right then and there.
No school.
No school.
Right.
But to know that I can do it, begins.
Right, and
So
Stan,
the moment
you wanted to move. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say, and actually, you know what? I just lost my train of thought. But it's okay. We're gonna move on to Sam.
Well, my goal is that I'm actually planning to move to Thailand January 18th. So that's
nice.
in just a month from now. Yeah, I've already made enough to live like location independently, and the rest of this can come through my store, just the community, and just the value of it was that it taught you how to work online. I mean, honestly, like I made more in my first month of DSL than I did working 40 hours a week, and I've done that. I'm done both, so. Like, yeah. I actually made way more than that. All I did was like
witness to his success.
Yeah, like we honestly just worked on the internet, like didn't have to do anything else for anyone else, and I made more in my first month than I did working 40 hours a week. I actually calculated if I got paid $35 an hour and I worked 40 hours a week for the whole week, still made more than that.
Oh,
That's
wow.
amazing. That's amazing.
That's awesome. Congrats. Anybody have anything else to add to that before we go on?
I would have to agree with what everyone said. It's all relative. So if you want to live in Southeast Asia, of course, it's going to be a lot cheaper. For me, what I project is I do like what Nathan's currently doing from FBA Empire. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the profits from my drop shipping store and starting my own private labeling business. But this wouldn't have been possible if I didn't start with Dropship Lifestyle. And if it were not for my dropship store, it wouldn't have led to the other venture that I'm doing right now. So I digressed, but I do plan on just traveling around between Europe and Southeast Asia by next year, hopefully by Q2 of next year. So that's the end goal for me.
Okay, awesome.
Can I add to the question?
Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So to be more practical, maybe like think what you want to do. Think where you want to go, and this will help you choose how much you need to be location independent, basically.
Awesome. Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so let's see what else we have. I mean, some of these questions I was going to ask anyway, but I guess it's more interesting if they come from other people. We got
for the
Chris.
record.
What's that?
For the record, my goal is Costa Rica, and it's been in the plans for the last 2 years. I got my wife on board, and that's what we're working for.
Okay,
So
hey,
hopefully by next year, our plan is 3 months. We're going to be taking a sabbatical. We both work for the same company.
okay.
Planned out, and that's why you always see my hashtag Freedom45. At the age of 44, I'm writing my what do you say with that letter? I'm going to be here, and at 45, I'm handing it to my boss and saying, "See ya."
Nice.
Hopefully Ross is not watching this now. So, yeah, so no, that's good. That's good. So, you know, you're gonna hopefully watch this video at a later point and hold yourself accountable. It's gonna be like
Definitely
guilty for yourself.
accountable all the way.
And then you got all these guys on the call that's gonna push you. Good. Let's see what we have here. We got okay. So Chris X is asking, what do you do for taxes? Let's see. What do you do for taxes charged in your store or pay after? So a lot of people have been asking about taxes. So what's your approach to taxes?
That's the beauty of being a Canadian. Just because we're right across the border, we're considered as a foreign entity by these US companies. Now, we don't have to collect any taxes anywhere in the States, and that's the beauty of it, without even applying for a resale certificate. We don't have to collect taxes, nor do we have to declare taxes with the IRS. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we have to do any of those. So really, we're saving a lot of the customers' money just because we don't charge taxes to the state that we're shipping to, and we don't really collect taxes as well. So it's a win-win for us Canadians, really.
How sure are you about this? I'm still wondering, like, how true this is. Because if you go deeper and deeper, it's hard to. Did you add like some legal? Did you see a lawyer? Did you meet like a professional lawyer, or did you just read that on the internet doing research yourself?
It's a little bit of both. I did not seek a lawyer specifically, but I did seek my accountant, and he said, yeah, you have to report and submit your income from these drop shipping stores as your own personal income tax, but you don't really have to report anything to the IRS.
Okay.
I got the same.
Yeah. And guys, this is not meant to be legal advice necessarily, but you know, they've gone through the process, and this is how they're going through the process. So just for everybody listening. So
well, you know, we do have something we're trying to work on right now. We're trying really hard to set it up. For this, like, hopefully this Friday, we're trying to connect with like an accountant who's like who will come on our group, and we'll maybe record a podcast. We'll grab everyone's questions. We'll have an accountant answer them, and then we can just put it out there, and everyone's questions will be answered. Because like the biggest goal we want to get through is we don't want there to be any confusion. We can put it on the group. We can put it on our website so that everyone could just see it there. And the accountant can then answer any questions they have. I think that might be the easiest thing for us. In regard to taxes as well. So Ari, when we first started gathering this information, yeah, he called the IRS. And we were basically told the same thing, which was the presence of a nexus. So nexus is like if you're in physical entity in the States, you have a nexus there. As Canadians, you don't, unless there's a very fine print here. So now this is our experience now. So again, not advice. Like this is not foolproof, but so far we haven't had any problem with it because we haven't done, say, white glove shipping, which is I think that's one situation where you have established nexus. This is when it's really good to have like an accountant on board that can answer all these questions, and that's what we're trying to do. But without you owning employees or buildings or anything, if you're a Canadian drop shipping in the States, you don't charge taxes, you don't collect them.
But sometimes you have to prove to the supplier you're a reseller. So that's a
We
Like
just
you-
send them our provincial tax, like our business number provincially, and that's more than enough. Sometimes if they really need it, just call up the CRA, get your federal business number and tax ID, and that should be like. So far, that's pretty much worked for us. I think some suppliers they haven't had experience dealing with Canadians, so it's everyone's different.
Okay, great. Let's see what else is coming in. Let's see from KARIM. Anyone here in the U.S. store that drop ship to Canada? Let's kind of reverse that. Or I guess let's talk about that. So, what have you run into, like any kind of issues or with suppliers or setting up your store or any big aha moments? You may have seen a variable or a variation from what you've seen in the course that you have to do in Canada to both like get suppliers from the U.S. to ship to Canada, and then suppliers in Canada to kind of work with the U.S. and then other countries. What have you run into?
So in my experience, when you're talking to a US supplier, I try not to tell them I'm a Canadian unless they specifically ask where I'm located. And at that point, I tell them, so I'm Canadian, but my primary focus would be to sell and distribute in the States. Now, some US suppliers just cringe with the idea that you were Canadian, and that's because they've never worked with a Canadian before. But if you explain the logistics and explain how things work, it'll take time, it'll take some convincing, but in my experience, it's always worked for me. I did have a Canadian supplier who distributes to the States. So when I tried applying for an account with them, they said, oh, we can only give you a Canadian account just because we need to be fair with our suppliers or distributors in the States. And at that point, I was a little thrown off, but they referred me to another distributor in the States. I still get the same I still get the same pricing. So it worked out in the end. What I found different is the States usually has a manufacturer and then a distributor, which would distribute, say, about 5 or 10 different brands for that specific niche. We don't really have a lot of that in Canada, but if you find that distributor, even if the master supplier doesn't work with you, if you find that distributor, you'll often get approved right away, and these distributors would often work with retailers and drop shippers and the likes.
Okay, great. Anybody have anything they want to add to that?
I was gonna say, to be quite honest, I was really, really impressed with how simple it is to work with U.S. suppliers. I don't know if it's my niche in particular, but it's been a phenomenal experience. And I just want to tell everybody to stop stressing about calling suppliers in the U.S. because they're totally okay with it. Every single one I called accepted me without even questioning the fact that I'm Canadian. Even the last supplier that I just got on board 3 days ago, which I did the post in labs, instead of even asking me for my reseller certificate, which is an American term, he asked me, he goes, do you have your business ID and your tax IDs? And I responded, is it that obvious that I'm Canadian? So don't worry about it. They're used to it, and I think as more time goes by, they're even getting more used to the whole drop shipping style, because it's become, without even me saying the words drop shipping, they're bringing it up themselves, and it just makes the whole situation that much easier. So what I'm going to tell all Canadians is, don't worry, pick your niche, get on the phone, call suppliers. They don't have any problems working with Canadians. You provide them your tax ID, you do everything legitimately, and you don't lie. You got to be honest with them, because if you lie, it'll come back at you, and that's when it ain't going to be fun. So no problems being Canadian.
I had a pattern, like sometimes when you contact suppliers, they send you back to their Canadian counterparts. So this is why now I try not to say that I'm Canadian unless they ask for it. And also with customers, when they're asking me where we're based, I always say Canada, but I say that our factories are in the States, which is our suppliers. And sometimes it's beneficial because the customer is close to your factory. So also it's good to know where is located your supplier, so you're able to, reassure the customer.
Yeah, help build that trust for sure. All great points,
Yeah.
guys. Let's see what else is coming in. This might be kind of hard to answer, but like if anybody wants to try to take this one, but Brian is asking, where do you source? Because we don't give away niches or anything like that. But if there's anybody that wants to kind of take this or give a perspective on this, it would be great. Brian's asking, where do you source products for drop shipping?
Where do we source?
Where do you source products for drop shipping? You're asking. So
Like I think what they're trying to ask is like, how do you
Find
products you want to drop ship?
yeah, I think they're kind of going through the niche
yeah.
but they're also kind of asking maybe like what kind of suppliers. Maybe they're thinking like AliExpress. Like a lot of people ask about AliExpress and then Amazon and all this stuff. So what's your perspective on that? Do you have anything you want to?
Honestly, yeah. Actually, that's an interesting point. This ties into like when you're creating a store, because I got this really good tip from Corey Eckert. He's Ecotech on the forums, right? And he told me that instead of like loading demo products on his stores when he's creating them, he just like sources them straight from AliExpress and just puts his store live like while he's working on getting actual suppliers. Because like if someone buys, that's still an actual product that they're buying, you can still sell it. And that's one way, but it's not the route we really go. To source products from suppliers, you got to contact suppliers. Usually, Anton goes over that very well in module 1 of the DSO blueprint, and it's just it's simple as that. Just follow what Anton shows you. It's really not hard at all. I think I see a lot of people that haven't taken DSL or that haven't done quality drop shipping. That to them, the concept of calling up suppliers is foreign to them. It's never occurred to them. It's always arbitrage between Amazon, or it's always reselling from one platform to another. So that's the main thing I found. So just follow the course. You'll see how to source products and suppliers very well.
Okay, great. Anybody want to add it to that? Okay.
Is there a question for me? I didn't even hear the question.
You said, do you want to add to that?
No, I think Sam could.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted
Sam
to-
nailed it.
Yeah.
Let's
Sorry,
let's-
because we keep switching back and forth with the mic, so we could try to speak more clear. So don't mind
Oh,
us
no, I
fidgeting
hear
all the
you, I hear
time.
you. Logistically, and then there's some background noise and everything. So we're making it work.
I drove 7 hours to be here.
Wow.
7 hours?
Yeah, well, we left in the middle of the night, and there was a snowstorm halfway, and I didn't get a lot of sleep either last night, so I had to pull over a couple of times and take a quick nap.
It's all
Yeah.
for the meetup.
That's called commitment. That's
You're
called
darn right.
Yeah, the
That's
road
right.
to success, right? And so
That's how
he's
all the
willing to do
Canadians
stuff that
do
most
it.
people aren't. So that's kind of that's kind of how he could be successful. He's gotten 2 sales, so it's the first of many. The first 2 of many. So you drove over there. That's a testament to your drive. So in one way, more ways than one. So let's see. We have Sebastian. I love the idea of being location independent and having that freedom. I already love C. Let's see, travel. So they love traveling, cool. And then we got, I think, Ari, you posted about this recently, but I have Christopher asking, anyone can tell me how they use negative keywords for their PLAs? Maybe I'll get some value from hearing it from you guys.
Okay, well, mind you, this is still all new to me getting into this section, but I had to wait until I got at least a good few days of data, seeing that I just launched my PLAs on the Sunday prior to Cyber Monday. But it has made a big impact on my impressions and how much I was spending per day. So basically, once you have all your PLAs set up, and after a few days of data, you're going to go into your dimensions, right?
Yeah, dimensions.
The dimensions, and you're going to key it down by search terms, and you're going to start seeing what people are using to find your products, and you're going to end up seeing that there's a whole bunch of nonsense. Yeah, you realize that you're going to be paying to be more of an educator than a seller. So you filter through that list, and you take everything that's irrelevant or that you don't want to be found for, and you add it to your negative keyword. So just to give you an idea, because I'm just starting with the PLAs, you know, and I'm following the course to the dot, my budget was $10 a day, and I was easily maximizing that ad spend within like 3/4 of the day to half a day. I was already maxed out, and ever since I added in the keywords, I dropped down dramatically to about $2.50 to $3 a day. But now it's really concentrated on people that are looking for more specific words and long tail keywords that are related to my products.
You really just want to take the general broad keywords out, because a lot of people will be looking for like how to blah blah blah, best blah blah blah, and then Google does this little trick that Simon taught you. You want to go
Yeah,
over
I
that?
just went. I had a coaching call with Simon the other day, and how can I? Basically, you know what? I'm not good enough to explain it. I had a hard time understanding it. It's pretty rough, but
Honestly, it's like when you set up a negative keyword, right? That is stored in your negative like keyword section within your ad group and your product group. But then what happens is that it'll set that keyword as a broad keyword. So it's stored as negative, but it's like broadly covered. So it'll still show up for things that people search. And you have to actually manually go through and set it as either exact negative keyword or a phrase negative keyword. Like, for example, someone searched best blah, 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 and you put that in. It's going to be put as a broad best whatever product. And people will still search a variation of best something, or they'll just search they might still search a best product plus something else. It'll still show up. So you either have to key it in as a phrase, or you have to key it in as something exact that you don't want it to show.
that's by clicking on the actual keyword.
Otherwise, you're still going to be spending a lot of money on, like, you know, stuff that you haven't, don't want to be showing up for, because, you know, little Google tricks, I guess.
Nice. Anybody want to add to that?
I think these guys pretty much nailed it. If there's one thing I want to add,
And we're still
is
learning.
I am a big advocate of the negative keyword planning tool. And I just love that tool. You just type in a keyword and it spits out all of the relating keywords to that specific search term. And you can then, you know, filter out which keywords you want to exclude, which keywords you don't want to put on your negative term, and then you can just copy all those keywords, put it in your AdWords, and then, you know, you can exclude all those negative terms and just optimizing everything. Just make sure you're getting the most out of your clicks and the most out of your ad spend. So I'm a big advocate of that tool. So anyone who is interested in looking at it, if you just Google negative keyword tool or planning tool, it'll show up. I think it's from WordStream, and WordStream has a ton of free resources for anyone new into AdWords or pretty advanced in their AdWords learning. They've got the right content for you.
Very nice. Yeah. So using that tool, I'll try to link that below later on. So, all right. So let's see what else is coming in. Let's see. Sourcing, some general comments. I don't think we'll be able to get to all the comments or anything like that. Is there anything that you want to that's coming in on your side, Sam, or anybody else that you saw a question of? Because I'm not looking at all the channels and y'all posted. I have another couple questions, but I just wanted to make sure that was coming through, that was kind of burning. That you want.
Yeah, we're just taking a look. We're going through it right now to see if there's anything we could answer.
What he wants to say is there's one here, actually.
Here you go, Sam.
Here, I'll just stop. So there's one here that's asking, is the course using Shopify or WordPress? Simple answer to that, it is most definitely using Shopify, not WordPress. It's a really great tool. Shopify is an amazing platform. And honestly, I think even Anton goes over this so many times. I think he's gone over it many times in Dropship Weekly as well.
Customer
There
service.
are other platforms out there. A close second, I guess, would be like, yeah, Magento or something. But Shopify is honestly the best. And they have amazing customer service as far as, you know, all the times I've experienced with them.
They're 24 hours.
Yes, and on top of that, Shopify has a really diverse app ecospace. So there's an app for pretty much everything that you need, from after ship to free shipping bars to affiliate link tracking. There's tons of apps out there. Some of them are free, some of them have a cost associated to it, but I think if you definitely find a fit between your app and your store, then it's a price well paid.
Nice. Yes, for sure. So that's what we definitely recommend over here. Some of the things you mentioned, customer service. There's the support aspect of it. WordPress is harder to support. There's a lot more themes, a lot more moving parts, plugins, things that can go haywire. So and it's not built. It wasn't originally built for e-commerce. Shopify was. So,
and the biggest issue with WordPress I come across, like with WooCommerce, is security. Is because WordPress is not going to back you. You're not hosted on their servers, like per se. Your security isn't guaranteed by them. If any viruses your store is vulnerable to, that's up to you to take care of. There's basically like no end user customer support as immersive as Shopify's is, and especially 24/7, and especially like just the fact that you have someone else managing all the security for you. So yeah, there's a monthly fee involved to that. WooCommerce is free, but as with all things, you get what you pay for.
Great point. All right, so let me make sure there's nothing else coming in. I guess we're good on your channel. So the question I had, so was there any other things that you come across, like in the group, or that keep on coming up repeatedly, that you found like was easy to answer, or on the flip side, hard to answer when you're going through this dropship lifestyle journey? And then if you could kind of expound upon it and let everybody listening, what were some of those things that you run across that you were able to overcome, like together as a group and then individually, besides some of the things we talked about, like taxes and some of the logistics of shipping and suppliers and things like that?
For me, the first thing that came to mind is the whole I'm going to have to call supplier thing, create a relationship. And I just want to say, if you're within that phase and you're worried about calling suppliers, just relax and try to make it conversational. You're trying to add value to their business. It's not just, you just drop shipping their items, but you're creating a mutual partnership between you and the supplier. You're paying for all this ad spend to promote their products, sell their products, and in return they'll give you the products at a wholesale discount. So I think that's a win-win situation. And if you take your mindset away from, I'm just drop shipping their products, I'm not really adding value to it, to a mindset that it's an actual partnership and you're giving value to each other, then I think the relationship will go much further. For me, for example, my supplier was so impressed that because we were advertising his product so well, he decided to take me up on a partnership where he will subsidize my ad spend for his particular brand. So that's been going really well for me. And if I didn't approach it from the standpoint of how can we both work with each other to make sure that we're both successful, I wouldn't be in this position today.
Okay, great. Yeah, and that's a key point, is that you got to build relationships with suppliers first. I mean, just like a lot of things in business, I used to be in relationship sales, and that's where a lot of things happen, and a lot of opportunities, like you were saying, kind of open up. So it's all about having conversations, keeping it as real as possible, and hopefully getting to that next level together. And just keep in mind, that's what I've been commenting on the group too, to kind of further build on that. Folks, the suppliers need you as much as you need them a lot of times, because if they didn't have people selling their products, then they wouldn't exist. And businesses exist to solve problems, and a lot of the suppliers' problems is, or their opportunity is, they want more sales. Who doesn't want more sales? So you just got to approach them the right way, and they're human just like you.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, they're human just like you. You approach them just like you would anybody else, and the sensitivity you would approach anybody else, and the empathy, and it will be a lot easier conversation. So anybody want to build on?
And I'll just say that Bing is absolutely right. I mean, that's probably the biggest hiccup that I'm finding Canadians are struggling with, is really just calling suppliers, and I'm going to say it one more time, nothing to worry about. But what's really important, and if there's one tip I could give, is you got to call them with confidence and you got to believe in yourself. You can't call a supplier being in doubt and being stressed, because it'll feed off onto them and they will feel it, and that's when they're going to bite at you. You call a supplier, you are in control of the conversation, and the end goal is, when are you signing the papers? And you will. Just believe in yourself. All the hard work that you put into it up until this point, it ain't time to give up. It's time to go stronger.
Yeah, and
because
also
the next step is loading products and making sales. Go ahead. That's it, Gab.
yeah, so I would also add to multiply your chances of getting approved to like send emails, call them, leave messages, and call again and call again. Sometimes it's a long process over months and months, but you have to like show them that you're not gonna give up, so you keep going. Always like don't be aggressive, but like be aggressive and tender at the same time.
Aggressive.
I agree.
Great. No, that's great.
That's the most Montreal thing I've heard so far.
It's almost like a oxymoron. Yeah, that's awesome. So, is there anything else that you've kind of run into that people are kind of taken aback or standoff or having trouble getting started with or understanding that you've run across?
Honestly, in my viewpoint, and like in our experience that we've been moderating, sort of like trying to help as many people out in the group, is that a lot of people are just at a loss as to what to say. I know Anton provides scripts that you can use. They're phenomenal. Those are actually what I started off using. For some people, they're not even comfortable, say, reading a pre-made script or something. They freeze when they're calling suppliers, or like recently I saw the post about the guy who printed a script and it cut in half, and so he had to hang up on a supplier halfway, which I don't want that to happen. So we try to like maybe rehearse with them, call them, just try to just work through all these hard things. I actually worked with a guy recently, Nick. He was having trouble with suppliers because he said that they've asked me how long I was in business, and I just went, I couldn't tell them that I was in business for longer than I've been in business. So I told them I'm doing a course, and they said they'll think about getting back with me. And I said, you don't have to really, if you feel uncomfortable telling them something that you find that is like a little white lie or something, then don't. Just tell them the truth. Go with your experiences. What have you done in the past? Did you sell burgers? Did you upsell products? I mean, that's sales experience. So you can say you've worked in sales. I mean, like something like that. I mean, a lot of people that are uncomfortable with, saying that I've been in e-commerce for 5 years or whatever. That's fine. Nobody's expecting you to. Or they say, oh, I have a team, when you really don't. That's fine. Nobody's expecting you to. You can say, we have, set and focus is web design. I think that's just as equivalent to saying that I have a web designer working on my store. I mean, you just have to really play to your strengths, and you got to go in it with empathy, which I posted about yesterday. You really should empathize with what the supplier wants. I mean, everyone knows what they want, but you're trying to build a relationship. You got to think out from your end, what does the supplier want? And the supplier wants one thing. That's a relationship, that's a reliable reseller, and that's money.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, right? Everybody wants more sales, but they also want less headaches. So you got to keep that in mind. You got to have that mindset when you approach them that, hey, this is what I want, and that's the empathy there. So you got to figure out what that is. And generally speaking, you can approach a lot of people the same way because a lot of people want the same things. They're human, so you got to talk to them as such. So. Was there anything else that you wanted to add, like anything else you've run into recently that was issues, for Canadian drop shippers, either, doing business in Canada, doing business in US and abroad?
If I may add something and take a step back to the supplier thing and calling suppliers, I would say, just be real and true to yourself. I'm not a big fan of scripts myself. My first job was in sales, and I was reading off of a script, and it just sounds so robotic. And so I've learned off of my failures about that. And so right now, when I call suppliers, they just say, hey, this is Irvin from XYZ company. I'm interested in carrying your products on my store. I'm curious what the process looks like to become a reseller or distributor for your brand. I think there's a proper fit. And then stop. And then just have them talk or have them ask questions about, about myself, my business. Or sometimes they even, actually 90% of the time, they just go right straight to, what's your email? I'll send you the application.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier. And, if people can just, get away from their heads and actually calling the suppliers and, not too overthinking about it, I think it would go a lot smoother and a lot easier.
Great point. And I like how you said you stop. You say what you need to and you stop, and that's a lot of the, that's what you do a lot of times in sales too, or just in conversations, because if you talk too much, they'll know you're overthinking it, or you might reveal that you're less experienced or what have you. You just say what you need to and stop and let them talk. And like you said, maybe they'll just ask for your email and get the application. Maybe they'll go in a different direction, but give them a chance to speak and see where it goes from there.
And
Exactly.
I find the same concepts and principles are applicable to when customers are calling you, like empathy and all that stuff, but I found it really important to ask questions to the customers, ask them what they need and really respond to what they need. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
For
it's,
sure.
it's like it's a marathon. It's not a race, right? So you play for the long game. You, if you have to forego a sale now in order to build customer trust, in order to actually show them you're a stand-up company, so that they can come back later on and say, these guys treated me nice, I think I'm going to give my business to them. I mean, sometimes it's a matter of let go of us. If you don't have what they're truly needing, instead of pushing them something that they don't need, it's a matter of letting go something now in order to have 20 sales later down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Good stuff. Let me see. Let me see what else is coming in. I think we're good on the questions, and I think we're past our time anyway. But I just wanted to make sure there was nothing else pressing.
There's something else I've come across recently that I have absolutely zero experience in, but I'm very eager to see how far we can take it. I think it's also a good step for our group, which is so we're really focused on helping Canadians dropship outside of Canada to the US, but that leaves the obvious question. Of course, Canada has this scarcity that we found because it's a bit not like Australia. Australia is an island, so suppliers actually have to be on the place, like in the island, in order to sell within Australia. Canada has a very large land border with the States, the largest in the world. And as a consequence, suppliers can just prefer to be on the US state side. But there are suppliers in Canada. There are distributors within Canada, and it's a very untapped market. And based on my research so far, what I found is percentage to percentage, like population to population basis, Canada is has the population of the state of California just about. But if you just really look at it on a number to number basis, more Canadians shop online than Americans do. I believe it's about 11% of Americans that are shopping online, as opposed to 12% of Canadians. So there's a really interesting field that I've run across recently, and I found that a few of our members in our group actually dropship within Canada. So I'm really looking forward to picking their brain on there. I think it's something very interesting in the future, especially dropshipping within the country, because you have potential gold mine there, advertising costs being dirt cheap, and I mean, honestly, Canadians are used to paying for shipping. I think it's time to bring in free shipping in Canada as well.
I have to absolutely agree with that. I'm actually going to launch the Canadian expansion of my store this month, And if I look on Google Shopping, I don't have any competition whatsoever. Nothing. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm absolutely excited about crushing the Canadian market. And to top it off, like you said, no one offers free shipping in Canada. So if you can put that as a value add, or even if you can make a coupon code, so that people can actually feel like they're getting something for free, I think that's an absolute win.
You're gonna be making like 12 sales like every hour. I swear. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I might
hope
have to
so.
go to Canada. I might if there's no competition or whatever. That sounds awesome. So keep me filled in on that. I'm definitely. I think everybody's interested that's listening to it and that's on this call. So in this session. So definitely. Was there anything else that you wanted to add to this? Because I asked that because there's a few people on the call, so I just want to make sure again that nobody else wants to say anything. Okay. I think we're good. All right, so I think we're pretty good on the questions and everything like that. Someone that was asking if anybody's from Montreal. I guess that's an easy question to answer.
We are.
I see the latest question is someone's asking, with U.S. suppliers, do you ever ship to fellow Canadians? And the answer is that's something
Supplier-based.
It's supplier based. It depends on the supplier whether they offer shipping within Canada, because we prefer to ship on their accounts. And secondly, it is something that we have to leave as an option open. At least in my experience, I had to, because that's the only way the CRA would actually give me a business number. Because if I told them that I'm doing it within the States, they said, well, what do you need a Canadian number for? I told them that, well, if a Canadian ever orders, I have to ship it within the country. I'm Canadian. I'll have to charge them taxes. So you have to leave that option open. You can definitely do it. Obviously, you don't want to do free shipping to Canada from the States. It's gonna cost you a fortune.
Right.
We generally just
It gets complicated with the whole duties and taxes, and us as sellers and even the manufacturer could never give an exact amount. So it's always going to be a surprise for the customer. And I just find that the duties just ruins the total optimal experience for a customer. Nothing we could do about it, but if we could avoid it, why not?
like either transfer over to Canada or charge like a flat shipping rate of $40-50. That's the minimum you could do. But that's why I'm really excited to explore the whole drop shipping within Canada. The dollar's weaker, but I think the population and the standard of the market here more than makes up for it.
And I just add, my daytime job is FedEx, and I deliver a lot of these packages, so I know Canadians are ordering like crazy.
I'm ordering like all sorts of odd stuff too.
Everything.
Yeah, and I just shipped some stuff to you too. You, Sam, and some other Canadians from over here, and I can attest to that. It was pretty pricey. I haven't shipped anything personally. I haven't been to the post office in a while, but I don't like going necessarily. But I went there. I just came back from there before we spoke, and it was for like 3 to 5 pounds. It was like, I want to say it was like $50 or something like that. So it was, it went from like
Sometimes that by 4 with the courier service.
no, they're pretty like, hey, no, you can't get a discount. So they're pretty rigid about that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I don't think they have.
Bottom line to the core of that question was like, yeah, it's always up to the supplier, and I do have suppliers that said we don't ship to Canada. So ask them. Ask your supplier. Do you ship to Canada? It's either a yes or no, and you respect their wishes. Simple as that.
Okay, good. So I think we're pretty good on the question. I know I gave a lot of time, so I appreciate it. Was there anything you want to say in closing thoughts? Let's start with.
Something that I want to add to the whole shipping to Canada thing.
Okay, go ahead.
A new development that I'm doing right now is I'm working with a fulfillment partner who can actually calculate the exact shipping as well as custom fees. That way, when the package arrives at the customer's door, they won't be surprised about having to pay an extra cost for taxes or duties. So I'm currently in talks with that fulfillment company. They're actually integrated with Shopify as well. It's called Yakit, Yakit. They're pretty much new to this whole cross-border shipping thing, so from the US to Canada. But I'm exploring that route right now. They're currently in talks with my supplier. That way we can bring my supplier's items across the border and have the customer already know at the time of checkout how much they're paying for shipping, how much they're paying for customs. That way you wouldn't receive a call 5 days after they receive the item and ask, oh, well, why am I being charged for this surprise fee, which I didn't really expect. So I'll keep you guys posted on that, especially in the Canadian group as far as development goes. And I do see us having something worked out by the new year for sure.
Great. So yeah, thanks for everything you shared, Irvin, by the way. So we appreciate it. Gabriel, any closing thoughts?
I would say
Anything on there, say to the audience.
no, man.
Gabriel,
just
you
work.
got to say it in French. In French.
French.
You got to do it in French. No.
Just work really hard, man. It's all about putting the efforts, the output, man. You just have to keep grinding, hustling, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Just put in some effort.
You wanted to do stuff that people aren't, like Ari driving 7 hours to meet, a lot of you guys.
Well, I had to come and meet my partner after all. We've been on the phone for the last 2 months and we haven't even met yet. So. Yeah.
Well, not he's no longer mythological, right? He's
exactly. Yeah, he's real. Yeah. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
I just want to say that, listen, if you're going to take your hard-earned money and you're going to invest in this course, don't give up. It works. People across the globe are successful, and it's all on your commitment. So if you're going to put money into the course, go all the way. Don't stop at calling suppliers. Don't stop at uploading products, or don't stop when it's time to invest on advertising. The best investment in your life was investing in yourself, and you didn't do it just to make money. It's because in the back end, there's another goal in your life that you want to attain. Whether it's location independence, being a digital nomad, or traveling, whatever the case may be, there's a reason why. So go all the way, be successful, and join the rest of us. And if you're Canadian, join our group. Sam?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
great.
just that. And the final thing I want to add is that we had a very big issue with the amount of content we posted in the group. Again, with everything what happens in a group is that you can't pin every single post. So
You're too close
for sure. For sure, if you want to access like our previous info that we've put out, if you want to access everything else that we've talked about so far, you can go check out our website at dropshippingcanada.ca. If you're in the group, same thing. You can always post. We're pretty much always there to answer these questions, and we really encourage everyone to help out, like just talk and stuff. And honestly, it's very young. The group is still very young. I see it going 100 different places just a year from now. So I really see exponential value for everyone within the group, and I really think that it's organized community we have in Canada now more than ever. I think it's going to be huge just down the road, around the world, Thailand, within the States, wherever Canadians are. I know that it has the potential because I've seen it happen with the Aussie groups and the Australian meetups and the Australian sort of job shippers. They have, the sort of just the commitment there. I also see it happening for Canadians, and I really see a good promise in it. So just stick with it, and just don't give up, man. Like I store, I wanted to just tear my hair out. Got back on, start again. This one fails, I'll tear my hair out. I'll get back on, start again.
Awesome. Yeah. Be willing to fail. A lot of people, entrepreneurs, they'll fail a bunch of times before they get that gold nugget. They find that gold nugget. So you got to keep on pushing. So that's what I tell people, keep pushing.
Exactly.
So, that's all great information. I really appreciate it, guys. And just those that are watching, hopefully to the end, if you're not a Dropship Lifestyle member, I'm going to link some information about a mini course somewhere below that in the near future so you can get more information. I'd recommend and I'll link some resources, Canadian resources and everything in there as soon as possible. But just so you know, everybody that's looking at this opportunity or looking at drop shipping that's not part of Dropship Lifestyle, it's going to be good to have the course because these gentlemen I'm talking to today, these 4 gentlemen, already have the course. And it's good to have that baseline knowledge so to make sure that you're at that point so you can have those more intelligent conversations and be at a level that you can have those more meaningful conversations with everyone. So just FYI, just make sure that you're utilizing the information below. If you have any questions after this video, make sure that you ask them wherever this video is posted. And you have my commitment that we'll try to get to as many of them as possible, either myself or one of the individuals that we were speaking with today. So without further ado, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. It looks like we spent some good time. We shared a lot of information on suppliers and taxes and mindset and a lot of other things that kind of hold people back. So hopefully this was helpful to our audience, people looking. Thank you again, guys. Irvin, Gabriel, Sam, and Eric.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Adam.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. This was great.
Thank you. Okay, we'll talk soon. Everyone have a good
one. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
La poutine.